How's it going, guys? Today we are going to be making this kind of liquid metal object transition effect where they go from one state of individual object to being all together. It's really cool and I love playing with this effect. You can do this effect on any object you want. I'm going to be using hexagons. So first we're going to make that grid that's going to allow those hexagons to interlock. Then we're going to jump into geometry nodes and add those instances and make sure everything lines up, then setting up the scaling animation. After that, we're going to convert everything into a volume so that they mold into each other when they get close enough. We'll add a material, we'll add some lighting, and we'll be done. If you want to check out the project file, that is available right now on Patreon, and Patreon is 25% off if you subscribe annually. There's a lot of exclusive content on the Patreon if you want to check that out, and all of my courses and real-time materials are 50% off using this code right here. Both of those deals are valid till the end of the month. So if you want to check them out, that is linked in the description. With that being said, let's get into this tutorial. All right, so you are going to need Blender 5.0 or later to do this. Earlier stuff, it isn't going to totally work. This isn't technically a new effect, but we are going to be using the SDF grid stuff. So all those new nodes to make this a little easier on your computer. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to get a mesh, get a plane, and I'm going to scale it up pretty big. Something like this. I'm going to hit Control A, apply that scale. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Tab, right click, subdivide, and I'm going to give it a subdivision of 16. Maybe 14. Let's do 14. Do a subdivision of 14, and now what I want to do is if you hold down Alt and Shift and click this right here, you're going to get this line. So I'm hold down Shift, click each one of these lines. I want to click on every other line until we have every other line selected. Right over here, let's go ahead and select a vertex group. We're going to hit the plus and assign. So that is going to be so that if I say I click away accidentally, we can go ahead and select and get them again because we are going to need to select it later. So now that we're ready with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up a geometry nodes window, or you can go here to the geometry nodes workspace. So now that we have this plane selected, I'm going to click new. We're going to get an instance on points. Let's also get a cylinder and plug the mesh into the instance, and it's going to be really big. What we can do now, I'm gonna get a vertices of 6 to get those hexagons, and then I'm gonna bring down the radius a little bit, and then these are really tall, so you bring down the depth as well. And so now what we can do, we have every other one of these lines selected. You can bring them, let's see, we need to bring it over like that. So you can bring them over like this, and then you'll need to rotate them by 90 degrees, and then you can bring up that radius. And then just make sure that those corners line up. You can just kind of eyeball them. And then I'm going to hit A. I'm in edit mode here on the plane. Go to scale and scale it in so that this lines up. So there we go. Now we have our grid. Now let's go ahead and animate the scaling of these objects. So I'm going to do we're going to do a scale instances node. Let's go ahead and get a position node, a math node, and a map range. So let's plug all of these together and plug this into scale. So now what's going to happen, if you play with the add, it's going to move them around. But if you're familiar with this kind of stuff, you'll notice this diagonal motion is happening because it's scaling, it's creating this scaling effect on the X, Y, and Z combined together, giving you this diagonal. So we want some control over that. So we're going to get a separate X, Y, Z. So that means now we can create this effect on whatever axis we want. So we'll do the X. And where is it? There it is. Now, if you don't want it going from left to right, in this case, I do. If you don't, though, you can invert it. So see where it says from min to max? Make that one 0. Make this one 1. And now it's going to go the other direction. However, want it to be like this. And also the transition from scaled completely out to fully scaled is really aggressive. So if you play with this from max, bring it to the right or give yourself a higher value, it is going to make more of a gradient from scaled out to scaled in. You don't want it too, something like that I think looks really nice. One more thing we can do to add a little bit of variety to this animation rather than it just being scale in, scale out. Maybe we want this to be a recurring movement. you can get another math node. You can get another math node, put it right after the add, and switch that to ping pong. And what that's going to do is create this effect where now you have it going scale in, scale out. It's ping ponging the effect that we created. So now when you play with the add, it is going to do this. Now, depending on if something went wrong where you added this, you can add a little control. If you add a math node here, it will also edit basically the size of the ping pong. If it's not working here, if it's not doing it like that, it's just doing something weird. See, what this is doing is creating more of those pillars essentially, but if you have them where you're at, you can edit the scale, how big this gap is, just like that. And then I can say, I want more of these guys. Maybe I want 3, and then we can make them bigger like that. So you can have a lot of control. Now we can go ahead and volumize these and get them to mold together. I do want to make these guys a little bit bigger, so I'm going to bring up my depth a little bit. Okay. Now what we can do is go ahead and realize instances. We're going to do a mesh to SDF grid. That is going to cut this connection because it's not compatible. It's not geometry, so we need to get a grid to mesh. Plug this here, plug that there. And then if you bring up the voxel size, you'll start to get some of your grids back. Now, one thing I want to do to add a little bit of style to this is deleting some of these objects randomly. So we're going to get a delete geometry node, switch point to instance, and we'll get a random value node, switch that to Boolean, so we just have a slider, and plug that into selection. And that is going to give you something a little bit more interesting for your scene when you're playing with this first add node, animating that in. So you can have some fun there. So a couple things we can do to clean up this geometry, make it look a little bit better. Again, if you want it to look higher poly, you can play with this voxel size. So like 0.08. That'll make it even more high poly. But that's not going to make it look the greatest when it's animating. So what we'll do is we're going to set shade smooth node. It's not really going to change anything entirely. We need to get a smooth geometry node, and that's going to help a lot. So once we counteract that with high poly and a little bit of smooth geometry, we'll get something really nice. Now what we need to do is fix the normals. So we'll get a set mesh normal, change that to free. We'll get a normal node and a blur attribute node. And we'll switch this to vector, plug normal here, plug that into the custom normal, and say give it iterations of like 10. And that ought to fix all of our problems. And look at that transition. It looks so nice. So now once we animate it, it'll come in really nice. Now this is super high poly. So we are dealing with high geometry, but if you're okay with that, that's okay. You are going to need high geometry if you want this to look really good, honestly. So what I'll do now is I'm going to hit Shift-A, add in my camera, Control-Alt-0, snap that to view. And in my case, here in the camera settings, I'm going to go to orthographic. I honestly think that looks the best for this. It just looks really, really cool. All right, so now we can go ahead and add in some materials to this scene. So what we'll do is get a set material node. I'm gonna go here to cycles. I'm gonna hit the drop down and just bring in some lights. So I'm gonna go and create a new material. I'm gonna make it metallic and a little bit darker. And we can grab it here. So now we have a metallic material. And I'm gonna switch this window over to the shader editor. So a couple things that we can do. First, I wanna mess with the roughness of the material. So we'll get a noise texture. And if you have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, hit Control-T. That is going to add in a mapping node and a texture coordinate node, and we'll use object. And we'll plug color here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my detail to 12. I'm going to bring my roughness up, and then I'm going to duplicate this noise texture. And then we're just going to bring this in like this, bring this in. And you can't really see it very well. It's really just because of the lighting. So if I just rotate a little bit, there we go. We can start to see some of this roughness. So let's bring the scale up, bring this in like that. And then you can make this a little bit more rough, and then take the white and make it a little less rough to kind of even it out. So now we have a really nice metallic material. Now we can just head into lighting this. So we're going to go scene world, scene lights. And I am going to go ahead and create a render region. Bring my world here to black. And then let's just go ahead and get in a area light. So light, area light, I'm going to bring it up and have it casting down on my object, something like this. Also, you can use like a studio HDRI. That'll probably make this a lot easier. I'm just wanting to keep everything within one scene here, but there's really no value to that. I'm just being nerdy, I guess. So we'll go ahead and then bring that power to like 500. Bring that spread in, and now you have something like this. And then here beneath them, we're going to get a point light. So this guy right here, make him whatever you want. I'm going to go with a green and a power of like 1,000. So now we get this really cool green, and I'm going to hit Alt D so that when we change the color, it'll change it on both of them. So now we have this really, really cool effect. On my area light, maybe bring it to a slight blue a little bit. And then let's go to the compositor. We'll click new and we'll get a glare node. Switch this to bloom, go back to layout. And if you hit this drop down right here, you can click always, and that's going to show, okay, we have some glare, some glow in this scene, which is what we want. So that's great. So now we're ready to go. We're good to animate. You can animate this however you want. So if we go back to geometry nodes, I'm going to bring my voxel size to something like 0.09, just so we can look at the animation. And you're going to want to animate this ad right here and just animate it in. That's all you have to do. So you can just go ahead, say, give myself 120 frames. We'll go hit I on the value, go to the very end. And then say something like that. And then now you have that. So that's how it looks really, really low poly, and that's going to be the speed of the animation as well. But then once you pop it up to whatever the max value you're willing to go, 0.03, it won't go. So it looks like the max value is 0.04. And I mean, that looks pretty good. So if we look at this in sort of a final render view, that looks pretty good as like a transition into these hexagons into like this flat plane. And then if you want to render it out, I'm going to say probably do 300 samples, denoise it. So it looks like my render is denoised. I would say do a PNG sequence, 1920 by 1080 or whatever resolution you want to do, render animation, and you'll be done. So there you guys go. I hope you learned something. This isn't the most perfect effect. I wouldn't say this is the most perfect looking effect, but I just think it's really cool and really beneficial for certain projects. And especially if you don't need to animate it, then it's really perfect. But I think it's really cool. So if you want to check out the project file, again, that is on Patreon. Patreon is 25% off for annual memberships through the rest of November. So if you want to check that out, that is linked in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one.